Hi, Kelly Morgan here. In the first broadcast, it's going to be a weekly thing called First Draft Fridays. Hi, Sylvia. Yes, I'm live. And Vicki, I'm so glad you're here. And what I want to talk about today is that one thing that's going to make you stop writing your first draft, and you'll never many a time. And that is perfectionism. Now, I'm not saying anything here that you don't already know, but what I want to talk about is how I've gotten through it and how you can get through it in some ways you might not have thought about. One, I want to talk about the energy of perfectionism. I have a client that's always saying to me things like, you know what, I got to get this done by a certain date. I've got to do this. And that's a kind of perfectionism, because it's not that we don't need deadlines, but what I want to say about perfectionism is that it's an energy, and it's not necessarily the energy that you want to come through your writing. Perfectionism is impatience, it's critical of you, and it's critical of what you're writing. It's, oh, hi, Gladys. It's critical of everything, and it's because you're up in your head. That's what perfectionism is telling you. And so let's talk today about this energy, and I don't mean to sound new agey, but I think you'll know what I mean. Energy of perfectionism is impatience. It's get this thing done. It's get the whip out, make it happen. It's that's not right. You're never going to get it right. You don't know how to write. It's all of those things that come up in our head. Well, why? Because we're worried about what other people will think. And I'm worried about what you think during this broadcast, and I want to connect with you. And my goal, however, is to get outside of my perfectionism, that broadcast didn't start on time. And what if I don't say this right and all of that? I need to bring to you an energy that I want to bring to you this morning, which is one of some peace and calm and making things happen and getting them done. Now, here's the most important thing about perfectionism. It's connected to the end result and where you're going. But what I'm going to suggest is that it's not connected in the right way. So I always say to people, when you're writing a screenplay or a novel or content for your website, imagine what you'd like at the end of this. You know, what would you like to portray? What is it that you'd like to say? How would you like this story to end? And so much of that is, how are you feeling? It's not just, oh, the character did this, or at the end of my memoir, I ended up being cured of my cancer. No, although I'm glad. It's about feeling good about what you've written. It's about others feeling something about what you've written. I don't care if they're crying or they're happy. The point is that they're feeling something. You've made them feel. You've motivated them, inspired them to action. And so what I'm saying, I just got to get this out of here. What I'm saying is, hi, Shelby. It's nice to see you. And thanks for liking my haircut. Anyway, that's my perfectionist, has to have this right. Anyway, I am saying, so what I want to feel at the end of completing a project, a writing project, is what I need to be feeling while I'm going through it. So if I want to feel good that I've finished this project, the thing that I would say is, what can I do to make myself feel that while I'm writing it? Because if you're not feeling that while you're writing, it's going to be hard to arrive there. So yes, let's hold our deadlines like this in the palms of our hand. Let's keep them in sight. And at the same time, every single day that we write, the idea is to get into that place where we're in the moment. I found, let me just see if I can find it. I found a Bob Dylan quote that I really like. he said, the song was there before me. And before I came along, I just sort of came down and I sort of took it down with the pencil. Then it was before I came around. It was there before I came around. That's how I feel about it. So I think that the problem with perfectionism and the energy of perfectionism, that I got to get it down or I'm going to get the whip out and just whip you into shape, is that it doesn't allow in what needs to come through you and be set down. One of the things that helped me early on, and honestly, it still helps me, is this idea that I'm just a channel for what wants to come through me. Now, I'm not saying that's the whole thing, but it's a big part of it. And so my goal every time I sit down and write is, how can I just be the secretary? Is that still politically correct? The assistant to what needs to be said through me, a channel. And how can I do that and enjoy that process of writing and letting it come through me? And I think that's what Bob Dylan is saying. He's saying, don't think it's all about me. I'm just there with a pencil and I'm there to take it down. And that's how I feel, he said about it, the emotion of it. So am I saying feel good every time you write, that there won't be some struggle? No, I am not saying that. I'm saying the goal every time we sit down and write is to think about where we're going and how to feel when we get there. And then how can we feel that way while we're writing? So here's some things that I've found that can work. By the way, I can't just say to myself, hey, feel that way, Kelly. Feel good. Because sometimes, honestly, you know what? I don't. So one of the things that I found is just to start writing. And I said this to someone and they said, but wait a minute, Kelly, the thing is I'm having trouble writing. So how do I just start writing? And I say, do whatever you need to do to start writing. Pick up a pen, anywhere, any place, and just carry around a little notebook or do morning pages every morning. However it works for you, just start writing. And then notice when your perfectionist comes up. Like my perfectionist is up a little bit right now and it's talking to the back of me, my head. Remember that devil, that nice devil and the bad devil? I'm not saying it's a bad devil, but it's definitely wanting to control what I'm saying to you now. And on the one hand, perfectionism says, hey, get in your real voice, settle down, be calm. And so I'll listen to that part of it. And I don't want it to just come through. So what did I just do? I talked about how my perfectionism is up on this broadcast. And I do the same when I'm writing. There's something to be said for writing without editing, writing without judging, writing without using that material. Just stream of consciousness, whether it's a page or whether you're writing 3 pages, stream of consciousness a day for those of you who write morning pages or in your journal. It's just that idea that you're writing. And I don't play a musical instrument, but every day when I get up, my husband is just practicing the guitar. And he's not worried about what people think because he's in his office alone writing. And he's not trying to get it straight. He's just doing that to get it into his body. So here's what I'm suggesting. And if you have any questions, please put them in the comments here because I would love to answer them. I'd like to know what you do to get out of perfectionism. I know I need to write. I need to just start and I need to notice when I'm judging myself and write about that. And when I don't do that, it just is there and it's got its whip out and it's impatient and it's beating me up. So I just need to tell my journal that that's what it's doing to me and see if I can't breathe my way through it, write myself through to the other side of that kind of energy. Because perfectionism is an energy. And we need to move through it to get to the other side of it in order to just become a secretary, a channel for what wants to come through you. So any questions? I'm just looking over here. Yeah, I don't see any live questions, comments. I see if there's anything else. I think that's the main thing I want to say for this first Draft Friday broadcast is it's all about getting out a pencil and writing wherever you're at, whenever. Everything doesn't have to be perfect. And if your perfectionist is up, I want you to write until you notice that's what's going on. And, I was writing in my journal this morning, and I'm going to do one of my own quotes, which I said, perfectionism is to a writer what mud is to a hiker. It's just going to slow you down. Hi, Liz. It's good to see you too, and hear that you're on this broadcast. Let's see, I took your workshop years ago at the Bodhi Tree, and I'm an artist, not a writer, but your teachings impacted me so much. I was so productive when I took your classes and need to get back into that mental space again. Thanks. Yeah, thank you, Liz, for bringing that in. I don't think writing is just for writers. I think writing in the way that I'm talking about today to get through that perfectionist is for visual artists, comedians, performers, any kind of artists. Hey, Jen Jones, love that quote. Yes, perfectionism is to a writer what mud is to a hiker. And then, of course, I went off on that and I riffed and I said, what snow is to a skier. So I got playful in my writing this morning. I was doing what I'm saying is good for you to do. And Liz, if you do start just doing some writing in the mornings, it doesn't have to be all 3 pages, but whenever you're feeling stuck, even if you're a visual artist, just to start writing. Even now I have so many visual artists in the writing classes because they just want that artist way freedom that they got. Okay, any other questions? Beatrice, thanks so much. I need to hear this. I stopped writing my book a few months ago because I got so scared. Oh, thank you, Beatrice, for bringing that in here. Because that's usually where not procrastination, I'll talk about that another day, perfectionism comes from. I'm scared. And the problem with perfectionism, it's a little bit like a ghost. It is there, but you can't see it because it's hiding, or maybe like your shadow, it's hiding and saying, hey, I just want you to do this well. I just want you to be a good writer. You dumbhead. That's your hint that you're in perfectionism. And so I guess what I'm saying is, yeah, I'm scared to do this broadcast. And so what I did, I thought I got the idea for it, and I thought I'm going to work with a creative buddy to schedule it today. And that way I have to show up. And oh my God, if I do this every week, then I have to show up every week if I say that. And I do the same thing with my writing. And that too helps me get through my perfectionism, scheduling that time to write. Let's see, Jen, do you ever substitute writing a project for writing in your morning pages, or do you keep them separate? Yes, I do. I don't think they're separate at all. I think if I sit down and write, that whatever comes up in my morning pages is morning pages. That's what I do. I don't know if Julia Cameron, who invented them, would agree with me. I only have so much time to write in a day. One thing that I have done, though, is allowed myself just a half a page or quarter page to say, hey, this is what's up with me. Here's what I really want to write. And the reason I do that many times is because I need to tune in with myself, what Beatrice was saying. I need to tune in and see, am I scared? Am I in my perfectionist? What's my inner game doing? And so I've learned to check in sometimes. Other times I just get right into it. I'm writing a book now on improvisational writing. The working title is Crack Open Your Creativity, Free Your Writing, and Set the World on Fire. That's for now, the subtitle. So a lot of mornings I just start with that. Or this morning, geez, this broadcast was up. So that's where my morning pages went. And I let it take me there. And then the fact that I was a little scared and my heart was fluttering, that came up. And I noticed it because I've been writing them for a long time. Does that answer your question, Jen? And anything else that we want to talk about before this broadcast ends? And I'll be here every Friday. That's my goal. Well, not every Friday for the rest of my life, but at least we'll be here every Friday that I can, and I will announce it. So hopefully you can let me know what it is that you want to hear about in getting your first drafts done. And that way I can, write some of the broadcasts according to what you want to, or what you need. And I'll tell you the truth. The reason I'm starting this broadcast, one of the reasons, is I feel a bit disconnected from people who I want to be connected to. And I want to be connected to you. So let me know what it is you need to get your first drafts done. And I was going to call this first to final drafts, but we'll just stick with first drafts for now. Let's get those out there, and then we can edit, and I'll work with that later. Okay, I got Amy. Hi, how are you? And this looks like a picture of a little girl, but I can't see it, so small. And Jen, yes, thanks. Anyone else have anything else to say before I leave this broadcast? Okay, well, you can reach me. Obviously, you're on Facebook here, so you can reach me in the message center, and I will answer all those messages myself. So just let me know what it is you're needing. And I do have a group. It's called More Fun Writing More, or More Fun Writing right now. And I might change it to First Draft Fridays. I don't know. I just might leave it More Fun Writing. But anyway, as of today, see, my perfectionist is trying to get the perfect name. But as of today, if you're not on that group, you might want to go, because I will be giving away free things, and I'm going to be doing a morning page 5-day challenge where I'll be doing Facebook Lives every day on there just to get us all writing morning pages again. Oh, Kimberly, hi. Divine timing. Thanks for this. It's another sign for me to get my stuff together and start the creative juices after 15 years of being a homeschool mom. Oh my gosh, hooray. Yeah. Anything I can do to help? Yes. Just start writing. You for sure might want to go to the Facebook group or stay here. I'll announce it here too, so we can start the morning page challenge, and we're all going to write together. So I'll be sending some stuff out for that. If you got here, you'll be able to get there. I think the idea is just to start, and I am the kind of person that likes to do it with other people, as you can tell, probably. And that's why I want to connect with you. I want creative buddies. I want to be your creative buddy. I want you who are here to be creative buddies for each other. And there's certain ways to do it. So maybe I'll talk about that next week, or whatever else you bring up here. Anyone else? Okay. Thanks for joining me for my first ever Facebook Live first draft broadcast. Okay, that's becoming a tongue twister, which is what we talked about. Is the one thing that will stop you is perfectionism. We gave you some ways to get around that and to start writing. And one of the biggest ones is to start hearing what your perfectionist is saying and identify that that's what's up and what's stopping you. And also by visualizing how you want to feel at the end of the project, and then to feel that way as you're writing. What can you do to do that? Okay, I am signing off. First broadcast, and thank you so much for coming and being with me today. Bye.